products and services that needs understanding.
We're living in an information society, and therefore every part of the value chain is relevant. Nasty stories keep appearing. They will pop up. And therefore, if you are telling a story, if you have a brand, you have to ensure that it is consistent all the way through the value chain, because otherwise consumers say, well, this doesn't make sense.
Consumers are arming themselves with information and a sense of responsibility on behalf of the environment.
It's much, much more simple to participate in a better way of living. You can buy food that has been grown in a responsible way. You can buy clothes that have been produced in a responsible way. And we may have to just look at the little label a little bit more, but it's worth it because your children will be more healthy, you will be more healthy, and your environment will be more healthy.
We work very hard to buy products that are, well, I guess the term is green, in the sense that the material is recyclable in a very positive way. I think it's really important when you consider billions of people on the planet. If each did some small thing, it makes a huge difference. So it's sort of like voting. Your action does count.
The sustainability issue holds endless complexities. We bring to the issue different degrees of responsibility.
It seems like ever since I was a child, there's been something that has been disappearing. Either a species of bird, and probably hundreds of thousands of species have died out just in my lifetime. And I don't know whether anyone has started to feel at any given point any personal responsibility in this. I don't know if we should. Certainly there are processes that were started before I was born, but there are processes that we can restart and we can change in our lifetime by our personal choices. We can choose to buy differently, to live differently, to build differently. We can be a part of the solution every day.
Our choices and actions can affect the environment, which can have far-reaching consequences on things like public health.
Many of the diseases that have caught public attention, like SARS, swine flu, in the case of malaria and many of the fevers of Africa, they've been transmitted by mosquitoes. The growth rate of mosquitoes, the distribution of mosquitoes will be influenced by temperature, humidity, well, in fact, climate. So we can expect, and we're beginning to see a trend of, in the case of cholera, a trend of increasing numbers of cases, particularly in areas that are tropical. I think it's critical to monitor the environment, monitor the diseases, and begin to examine the subtle but discernible measures of change.
The Grundfos LifeLink system is not a charity. It is a business that helps provide clean water systems to communities without access to safe water.
We need to take a multi-pronged approach to providing water to villagers in remote regions of developing countries. If you have a device that has parts that have to be replaced or repaired, this isn't going to work. But in a, let's say, a more urban area, the system of pumps that are effective, that utilize solar energy, are very wise and very effective. But in the remote villages, we need to determine ways to provide individual families with as simple a technique as possible. If the design for the use in the household could be extraordinarily simple, and then the design for providing water to a larger community where there is the opportunity to have the repairs done, to have the parts brought in, and more importantly, to empower the local community to essentially be a franchise so that they're producing the components, they're doing the repairs. That, I think, is really sustainable.
The future is something which we produce as we go along. If you don't think about the future, you haven't got one. Which does not mean that you're going to die of not thinking about the future, but that you will be brought passively into the future instead of doing actively something about it. I'd like to repeat the cynical remark, the business of business is business. If you cannot have a bottom line with the right color, all the rest is meaningless. So you have to combine these attitudes to your workforce and to the environment in a way that ensures that the bottom line is all right. I would, however, suggest that both treating your workforce right and treating the environment right will in the future increasingly be evident as a precondition for having a good bottom line.
I think for industry, there's a leadership position, and that is by virtue of understanding the limited supply of safe water and the need for human sustainability, just human life, the contribution can be huge. I think that also industry can be much more effective in many ways than government because they're serving the public with products. And if the products are assisting in the well-being and in the social structure of the community, then I think it's a responsibility to do this wisely, economically, and sustainably.
And that is why Grundfos succeeds when its partners cut their energy bill, thanks to state-of-the-art pumps. It's good for their business, and it's good for the environment. Grundfos can be your partner in helping make our world a better place.